So my name is Angie Dalton from Signum Global Advisors, and I'm really excited to be here with Katarina Zun from Cocos-BCX, which there was just an announcement about this afternoon, so I'm excited to talk about that. We met at E3, which is a big video game conference in LA, and I am pretty passionate about the intersection of video games and blockchain, and I've spent a career analyzing emerging technologies, writing about them, and about a year or so ago, a big investor asked me to do a project. I left Guggenheim, and then a big strategic investor asked me to do some analysis as to whether or not it's time to invest in blockchain video games. I concluded that it was too early for many reasons, but most of all, I boil it down to this gap. There's a pretty big gap between the blockchain world and the video game world for a few reasons. I think the first is, and Katarina and I, we've talked about this a lot, the people. There are, up to 10 million cryptocurrency users at any one time. There are 1.86 billion gamers, and people assume that these worlds are more overlapped than they are. Cryptography is extremely complicated, obviously, and most gamers don't understand it, and they certainly don't understand how to set up MetaMask, most of them, or by ETH. And then I think on the blockchain side, there's a lack of understanding of just how complicated the video game and media and entertainment world is in terms of everything that goes on behind the scenes. So historically, what I've looked at from an investment perspective is I'm was looking for companies that kind of bridge that gap and either have people with long, many years of experience in gaming. An example is Mythical, who's going into the blockchain world. Or companies like Cocos-BCX blockchain, which like I said, we met at E3, which are more technology platforms that really understand kind of how these two worlds are going to come together. So it would be great, and just for background, Cocos-BCX is a sister company to Cocos. Many people in the video game world know Cocos because it's the #2 video game engine globally, and it's based in China. So why don't you just start off telling a little bit about yourself and then what Cocos is, and then I have to ask you to comment on the Binance announcement this afternoon, which is that you are going to be the first token listed that was non-publicly funded, in more than a year on Binance. So it'd be great to hear your perspective.
Yeah, great. Thanks for inviting me to Web3. So my name is Katarina. I working with Cocos-BCX as partner, and before joining Cocos, I was always on the public trade side with Neo blockchain. And so talking about Cocos-BCX, we have to introduce first Cocos. Cocos game engine is worldwide #2 by market share, and #1 game engine for mobile games, instant games. So may I ask how many of us here have ever heard about Cocos engine? Can you please raise your hands? Great, we have one. Yeah. So the game engine, it has been established already 11 years. So the core team is based in China. So we have a team in China that is sponsoring the development of Cocos engine for the past years. And it has been open source since the very beginning. And then since 2017 and 2010, we started looking into blockchain. And there was a CryptoKitties coming out by that time. So the whole crypto world started to recognize the concept of gaming plus blockchain. And we actually foresee this happening because from the gaming side, the game asset trading is a very major business model. Yeah, and we also can very much relate it to blockchain and can see many unique features or added value can be brought by the blockchain technology to the game asset trading. So that's why we started the project Cocos-BCX, and integrating it is a platform with 3 core components. One is our game engine, Cocos game engine integrated, and the second is the visual IDE that is a Cocos creator. We have globally 1.3 million developers registered using the IDE. And the third part is the Cocos chain, a public chain based on graphene infrastructure, modified graphene infrastructure, and dedicated proof-of-stake consensus mechanism. And we are not just building a chain, a platform. Actually, we try to empower the game developers, especially the traditional mobile game developers or industrial game developers, to help them migrate the gaming onto blockchain. So apart from the platform I just mentioned, we also build a set of tools to make the developers' life more easier, to lower the entry barrier for the developers building blockchain games.
Yeah. And then can you just comment on the anything you can say about the Binance announcement today?
Yeah. So I'm still feeling excited. I just got the announcement just now. So we are the first non-public founded project being listed on Binance Exchange. So for us, this is a milestone because as practice, so we have limited ways to connect with the communities. So being listed on the top exchange, crypto exchange, meaning that we are now officially opening up to crypto users. So that will very much help us to build our ecosystem, to onboard more users, and to onboard more crypto users and gamers in future.
So just on that point, then, can you dig into that ecosystem incentive plan that you have, and how will you build the ecosystem, or how are you building the ecosystem? And I think yesterday you had your first of many monthly conferences that you're going to be hosting. So.
That's right. So this is a unique thing about blockchain projects. I've been always involved in the public blockchain projects, so community is a very important part. And for Cocos, we have been an open source project for many years already. So globally, we have developer communities for many years. But while somehow when we build the Cocos-BCX project, we need to also start building the non-developer communities. That would be our future users or gamers on the platform. And for doing this, we have initiated our ecosystem incentive plan a couple of months ago, and we have received over 200 applications for both developers and non-developers. And we make selections based on the contribution, the plans, and then yesterday we gathered together close to 50 teams that they are already nominated as Cocos ecosystem partners to have this online monthly conference to discuss how they, how from the project team side, our roadmap we are moving forward, and from the community side, how they want to contribute and what are their expectations from the project team. So I think we are one of the first that leading this community-focused online conference.
What's an example of what they would do? These partners, are they submitting proposals to you for what they're going to be doing, and how do you reward them?
We have very specific incentive schemes. So each party, they can be either developers, they try to build tools or product on top of our platform, or they can be non-developers that they want to contribute in terms of educational materials, teaching people about the crypto or blockchain or gaming, etc. Or they are wallets, or the apps, or platform marketplaces, or their medias, etc. So all of these, they try to contribute in the way they can into the ecosystem. Yeah, so this, we see that it's really the, how to say, the most fascinating part of the blockchain project.
Can we just switch to just practicality here? You have a lot of partners. Let's just use Facebook as an example. How do you work with Facebook now? To start with that.
So these are the, I know partnership is very much used in the crypto world and also ecosystem. All the projects talk about the ecosystem. But we are here talking about the mature gaming industry. So in the mature gaming industry, you have to work with multiple parties. No single company or team, they can work everything by themselves. So we have been collaborating in long term with platforms like Tencent, Facebook, and Baidu, Huawei, Oppo, Vivo, Samsung, these mobile manufacturers as well. And also we work with many reputable developers worldwide, like game developers like Zynga, Dana, they use the Cocos engine every day. And also in China, more or less all the game content providers or platforms, publishers are working with us. Also some educational partners that they teach how to do the programming in Cocos engine, how to use the Cocos Creator IDE. So these, like in China, every year there are over 20,000 graduates finish the study from Cocos courses, universities or in colleges. And also in Japan, elementary schools, they start to teach how to use Cocos creators, from very young kids. So we have already established a relationship with all these core components for building the gaming ecosystem, also the blockchain gaming ecosystem.
So for Facebook specifically, are there games that they're developing that you're the engine under, or how does it?
Facebook, they have the Facebook instant game, so they required us, Cocos engine team, to build the runtime for the Facebook instant games.
That's right. And then would there be any collaboration with Libra in the future if Libra ever comes to market?
That would be very much interesting to us because we already been working together with the Facebook team. So if they are looking to blockchain, adopting the stablecoins or blockchain technologies, integrating with Facebook instant games, we're definitely in a good position, and we are definitely interested to talk to the Libra team.
So you're integrating with really any underlying layer 1 protocol that has gaming running on top of it? Is that the way to think about it?
Our idea is we are not just building our own chain. We do not try to compete with multiple chains, but we do see that there are some, limitations on the existing platform. So that's why we try to build our Cocos public chain with additional functions added on, specifically designed for blockchain games. But anyhow, to onboard these games from mobile games onto blockchain, we need to prove to developers that it is profitable. They can generate money because game developers are very practical people. They don't have time to do experiments. If they want to build a game, they need to put like 20, 30 people, right? And spending like a couple of months at least, and maybe millions of dollars in the investment to build a game. So they have to see that this has a way to monetize in order for them to get into blockchain. So that's why we think so far the crypto user base is still very fractional. And also each platform is working separately, very lack of interoperability. So we build the solutions to try to combine all these user base of different platforms through our cross-chain solutions, for both fungible and non-fungible tokens, because non-fungible token will be play a major role in the game. And also we have our own NFT token standard that is called 1808. And this token standard is improved based on the existing 721, 1155. So we add a lot of unique features inside it. And we also build the NFT standard alt version on different platforms. So we have already finished the integration with Ethereum, EOS. So for both fungible and non-fungible tokens, they can transfer from Cocos to Ethereum, Ethereum back to Cocos, and Cocos to EOS, EOS back to Cocos.
What about parity?
Parity, exactly, we're working on right now. So we will build our version of our non-fungible token 1808 version on top of parity, and also some other public chains under work right now.
So if developers are building on using ERC 721 standard, 998, 11, whatever the standard is, what is it, 1808? Your standard can basically act as an intermediary and between them, or do you encourage developers to just use yours? Like, how do you think about that?
Yeah, good question. That is also a challenge so far, that there is lack of interoperability between different standards. And there are multiple standards out there besides 721, there are 1155, and I think on top of EOS there are also like DGoods and what's digital asset, simple assets. Yeah. So for our standard so far, I think we do believe we have the best solution for building industrial level games using our NFT standard. And if the game developers, they really want to reach the maximum capacity of our NFT, it is better if they adopt directly the 1808 standard. Yeah, but anyhow, if they have the game already launched on Ethereum, they can transfer the game, they can adopt the 1808 Ethereum version and then do the cross-chain transfer with Cocos-chain and other platforms, yeah, for the same standard of non-fungible tokens. Yeah.
What are some other challenges that you see? I mean, that was part of the reason why, I was a little bit concerned over a year ago, and we've made a lot of progress since then, but there are, still challenges with NFTs. Like, are there any others that you can see? I mean, you talked a lot about interoperability. Is that the main one?
So it's still very early stage for non-fungible tokens. Do we have anyone working with non-fungible tokens here? Nobody. So very niche so far. And so for, I think, multiple dimensions of challenges from the developer side, so the lack of tools. So for a industrial level game, professional game developer, they don't have the proper tool to build the game they want, like 721.
Yeah.
Right? You can digitize the asset with 721, but you cannot do really the borrowing, mortgage, collateralization, these kind of things. And so we can solve the problem with our standard. And then from the content producer side, some of them, they have experience in the traditional gaming. They know how to build a good mobile game or traditional games, and they have really good team in-house and good IP. But they lack of the knowledge how to build the game economy for blockchain games, because that's a totally different thing, right? Migrating your asset onto blockchain is easy, but if you really want to let the crypto users play the game, to let it be adopted by the crypto users, you have to adopt also the gaming economy for the blockchain.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the second challenge. And the third, as mentioned, the lack of interoperabilities between different platforms. So we are aiming to solve all these step by step.
That gap is I think a huge opportunity, because gaming is such a big market, and I think that these, in terms of mass market adoption and real new economies, the idea that you can now actually buy, sell, and trade assets, and the fact that behaviorally people would want to do that, I think it makes a lot of sense that what you guys are doing there in terms of filling that gap. Let's go to the future. We'll finish on the future. Something that I've been thinking about a lot lately is cloud gaming, and the fact that, in the US at least, we think about, Activision, Electronic Arts, and some of these big incumbents. But now when you start thinking about Google Stadia, when you start thinking about Microsoft, all of these kind of subscription cloud gaming providers, and I know Huawei is also one, and I think you have a relationship with them in cloud gaming. Would you be able to talk about just, the future of video gaming, what your thoughts are, and then also the Huawei relationship?
So as mentioned here, Huawei, we have been working, not only Huawei, but also some other mobile phones. So we've been already providing the runtime, the framework for the Huawei mobile phone. So all these mini games on the Huawei mobile phone, they are pushed from the Cocos game engine. Yeah, and right now Huawei is now leading the 5G technology. So we have just established partnership, announced the partnership with Huawei during the China Joy that happened a couple of weeks ago. We provide them the solution for cloud game streaming under the 5G environment. Yeah, so that would be very amazing. I'm really looking forward to. That means in future, for the gamers, they do not need to download app to their PCs or mobile phones. They just need to have simple access to the internet and open the browser, and they can play the game directly in the browser. That is very phenomenal. And also with the 5G combined with streaming, they can watch the YouTube or Twitch. A lot of young people watch the Twitch. And when they see something interesting on that moment, they can just click and jump into the game in that moment within 2 seconds. Yeah, thanks to 5G. And you can imagine that in future if we integrate blockchain into the cloud game streaming. So meaning that you can watch the video game and then you jump into it and you can start trading your crypto assets directly during that environment.
Yeah, that's one thing that I'm really excited about too. I saw the video of the jump in on YouTube and just it's mind-blowing.
Yes, we provided a demo show for the solution during China Joy.
Oh, you did? Okay, interesting. Okay, great. Well, with that, thank you so much, Katarina, for coming from Shanghai. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.